Hello, my name is Joey Camaro. I am the owner of Camaro Mediation, and we were featured on Jenny's podcast for a live audit. We wanted to learn how to streamline our website. We are mediating clients going through a very challenging time in their life. So it's really important that our website is simple and easy to navigate. Jenny gave us some great tips to make our website look better and to make it a little bit better for people to easily navigate to find our services. We've implemented all of the changes and it looks amazing. I highly recommend reaching out to Jenny. It will make a huge difference in your business and on your website.
Picture this. I am on a strategy kickoff call with my client, Deb. And within the first 5 minutes of chatting about her business, she is explaining to me the 9 hallmarks of aging, talking about cellular senescence and evidence based protocols for longevity. And in my mind, I am thinking this woman is brilliant. And also, I'm not sure what she just said. And what hits me is that if I am confused at this point in time, and I work with a lot of experts, what will her potential clients be feeling when they land on her website? And here's the thing about Deb, she is a true expert. She's got a master's in functional medicine, genetic testing certification, nutritional specialist, physical therapist, you name the credential, she has it. And she found me actually through this podcast when she was launching a new business called Rebranding Aging for You, helping people navigate their aging journey. We hear about imposter syndrome, and a lot of people have that out there. But I think that there is another side of the world, the experts out there who are struggling with a different problem, wanting to share too much information and how to get the right information in the right increments on your website to have your visitors be able to understand what you do and actually take the action that you want them to take. Today, I'm going to share Deb's story and, more importantly, how we transformed her expertise from overwhelming into a site that is performing for her. And I think that you're going to find some good information in this, especially if you are one of those experts. Welcome to Website Design Made Simple, the podcast for busy small business owners who want a high-performing website that converts and sells their offers, even while they're sleeping. Because you deserve to have a strategic and beautiful website that truly represents your brand and positions you as the expert that you are. I'm your host, Jenny B., web designer and creative director at Jenny B Designs, where we believe that your website is the one thing that makes you sales and builds your brand at the same time. Ready to say goodbye to a website that you're embarrassed to share? And hello to a money-making, personality-packed powerhouse? Let's head into today's episode. We're talking about expert syndrome. Is that a thing? There's imposter syndrome, where people just don't have enough to say or are in fear of sharing out their voice with the world or announcing that they're in business. We hear a lot about this online. But there's the other side of things, the expert overwhelm, when someone is a true expert in their field and they just have so much knowledge, but they don't know where to start and what to share, and they want to share all the things. Before I get into the episode, a quick introduction for those who I haven't already met. My name is Jenny B, and I own Jenny B Designs. We are a brand and web design studio, and my passion is helping small businesses design beautiful and high-functioning websites that attract their ideal clients and encourage them to work with you because they show you as the expert in your field. And you make the connection with these potential clients, and they know when they get on your website that you are the person to solve their problems. This is my passion, and I love working with experts. In fact, over the years, I've worked with a bunch. And it's fun because I have this power of being able to cut through everything and get to the heart of what needs to be on your website and what are we trying to get people to take action on. And how do we do this in the most succinct manner as possible? Because I truly believe less is more. We are using Deb's website, Rebranding Aging for You. We launched it a few months ago as my expert example. I have been doing case study episodes, and these have been one of my higher listened to episodes. And so today, the twist is how to talk about Deb's website and her launch but also share with you, if you are an expert out there, how you might be able to structure your website to get your potential clients to take the action that we want them to take and to learn about what you can help them with. Deb's challenge was that she is an advanced science expert, truly was. She has certifications in so many different areas. And she has decided that she wanted to focus on those in the aging process. And she wants to help people live younger longer. That is her tagline. Now, she has some competition out there, right? She is competing probably against a lot of online influencers who are on Instagram or TikTok who oversimplify the material. Truthfully, a lot of influencers out there aren't certified in anything sometimes, or sometimes they have a few certifications, not like Deb's status. But online in the social media world, it tends to oversimplify things. Her target audience are smart people over 40 who want science and not trends. Now, Deb being an expert, and if you are an expert, how you might be showing up and how this expert overwhelm shows up is that sometimes you lead with credentials instead of client problems because you have so many credentials and because it is so important in your field. You tend to lead with these credentials. You might be using industry jargon requiring like a degree to understand what you're saying because it's, secondhand for you, but industry jargon isn't known to someone like me. You might be explaining methodology, how to make things happen versus the benefits of someone that's going to get when they work with you. And there might be too many complex concepts at once. That is how expert overwhelm could show up. And how this translates into your website is that if they go to your website, someone might say, "This is really impressive, but I'm a little bit confused." You also might see high bounce rates. And someone goes to your website and they leaves right away, despite having super valuable content. And it could also mean long sales cycle because people just don't understand what you offer. This is how expert overwhelm shows up. In terms of Deb, we decided that we wanted to lead by the education first. That is what we wanted to do. A lot of health coaches online lead with book a consultation. That is where they want to take the first step in the sales process. This is what I say. What is the first step in your sales process? For Deb, her first step and what she wanted people to do was to educate themselves. She wanted to share the information. She says, let's follow the science, not the marketing. And she wants to educate her clients, which is a form of pre-qualifying them. The serious clients want to read, want to learn more versus the quick fix seeker. She wants to work with someone who is really serious. For her website, we determined that there were 3 different pathways that she wanted people to go down. The first pathway was actually learning. She has a lot of content on her blog. She wanted people to learn on her website, drive them to the blog so that they are reading her content. The second pathway is for people who are ready for community. She has a mini tribe program. So it's basically like group training where she can really take a course and customize it. That is the second way that people can work with her. And the third thing that people can do is she has an ebook. There's a low-cost purchase for an ebook where she shares about these hallmarks of aging, and people can download this and educate themselves on more information. That is her 3-pathway strategy. Looking at your expertise website, what is your strategy? What do you want people to do? Are you trying to educate people until you know that they are going to be ready to work with you? Are you trying to get people on a consultation call? Do you have a group program? Is that what you're driving people to? Understand what pathways that you have on your website because that's the first step. And then everything else will be structured around this. The key changes that we made to Deb's website in terms of how we are leading people through the website is a homepage talks about people's aging concerns, not scientific framework on how she can solve their problems, but aging concerns. Asking the question, are you ready to understand the science of longevity? Would you like to slow your rate of aging? Things like that so that people can self-identify if they are in the right spot. On the services page, we made sure that she had the 3 different pathways that she wants people to go down when they are working with her. And I use this in quotes because she wants people to educate themselves. And so they're not necessarily working one on one with her, but they're educating themselves. And we have on the services page her mini tribe. This is the group program. It's broken into clear, understandable sessions on what's going to happen when they work with her in this group program. On the About page, what's important is that we have credentials that are supportive to how she can help her potential clients, not intimidating. If you look at the page, it's not a page just of her certification listed down on a long line and that's it. No, in fact, on the About page, we talk about her story, how she can help. We use bullets to break up her copy, talking about her mission, that it's to make things as easy and as efficient as possible so that you can stay independent, vibrant, and disease free. Everything that we do is a story. We also shared some things that are important to her and some Deborah innate, we call them, her biggest personal turnarounds, her pet peeves, her hopes for her patients, the next fitness challenge she's taking, just to create that emotional connection, to have people build that connection with her so that they know that she's more than just all her numerous license and certifications. To add that personal touch to the page. And you can see what I'm sharing at Rebranding Aging for You as I go through her site. Now, this is a 3-bucket framework. Bucket 1 is we need to know about the problem that someone is having. We need to talk about it in the language that the person is having this problem is. And they need to know about your solution in simple explanations. And then what they need to know to take action, the clear next step, the call to action. What do we want them to take? So in terms of your website, the expert website, if you look at your website right now, can someone explain what you do after looking at your website for less than a minute? Will they know? Are you leading with your credentials on your homepage, on your About page, or are you leading with your client benefits? What is your potential client going to get when they land on the site? Are you trying to educate and sell on the same page? Understanding what you're trying to do with your website. Deb, she wanted to educate, and then she had 2 ways that people can work with her, sell, if you want to put it in that framework. What is it that you're trying to do on your website? A lot of mistakes that I see is talking about methodology instead of the results, explaining the how before the what and the why, and assuming that your visitors want all the details up front. I don't think that they do. We are all so busy and we are doing so many things at once and our brains are super, super busy. It's too much when you have everything listed out top and center. I think that if you can share the essence of what you do and then share the details at a different time when someone is getting ready to work with you, maybe on that consultation call, or maybe when you're actually getting to work, then you can talk about all the details. But you need to understand that when someone comes to your website, they are busy and they want to understand the heart of what you do in the easiest way possible. And then, of course, talking about credentials instead of clarity. It's important to be clear. I always say clear over clever. Now, there is an expertise sweet spot, like Deborah. You want to demonstrate knowledge, but you don't want to overwhelm. You also want to show depth without losing people. And this is important because there are so many people out there in the world and in social media talking about the anti-aging like Deb is, but she knows so much more. You do want to show depth, but you don't want to lose people. And this builds your authority, but at the same time, it keeps you approachable. You're using your expertise to serve your potential clients and not to impress. And in terms of Deborah and your website, make sure that there are multiple entry points for your visitors. You perhaps might be writing a lot of blog posts because I think that's an important aspect. If you are an expert, show your expertise out there, and you may be writing a lot of blog posts. Understanding that when someone comes to your website through search because they found your blog post, do you have information on your blog post page showing them what you want them to do, sharing the next action? sharing a little bit about who you are, what you do, and then guiding them on their journey. Understanding there are multiple entry points. And of course, having those beginner-friendly starting points. For Deb, it's a lot of just reading her blog. And then she walks them through downloading her book. That is the next beginner-friendly starting point. And then it's her mini tribe, her group program. So there are 3 different tiers. That is pretty much the expert dilemma. Here is what you can do. If you think that you are an expert and it is showing up, your expertise is showing up in your website, what can you do? Look at your homepage. Is it about them, your potential clients, or is it about your credentials? Can visitors understand your value in 10 seconds or less? And do they have clear next steps matching their readiness? And this is important because you have so much expertise. You are trying to educate and get them ready to take the next step with you. Are there clear next steps matching their readiness in different areas? For Deb, read the blog. You can download the book, or we can work one-on-one. It all is a different step that matches their different levels of being ready. So to put it in my final closing thought, being an expert is only an asset when people can understand it. If someone can't understand it, it's not going to help you in terms of your website. And think about keeping everything as clear and as simple as possible. You want your knowledge to clarify, not complicate. This was kind of an interesting episode for me because I feel like I said before, you hear all about the imposter syndrome, but not so much about this. I'm not going to call it expert syndrome, but expert overwhelm. And this is how you go about tackling that when it comes to your website. And if you think that you might have this expert overwhelm happening on your website and you want a second pair of eyes, I would love to take a look at your website. I have a website audit where I do a deep dive into what you got going on in front and behind the scenes of your website. And I share with you a report on what you can do to make your website work a little bit better for you. So you can find more information about that in the show notes. And I look forward to chatting with you next time. And that wraps up another episode of Website Design Made Simple. I hope you found the insights shared in this episode valuable and takes you one step closer to creating a website that attracts more of your ideal clients and builds your brand. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a minute to leave a review on Apple Podcasts or a rating on Spotify. Your review will help us reach more small business owners like you who are ready to make more money with their website. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.